And what you'll find is something called multiple intelligence. Some of you may have heard of this concept. We tend to think that if somebody is intelligent, we seem to say, oh, that person, they're very, very intelligent, very brainy. What we mean is they're probably very good at maths or something like that. Very logical, very clever. But it's widely thought that there are actually lots of different types of intelligence. And these are what you discover when you talk and you meet to different types of people. You've got verbal intelligence. People who are good with words, who are good at talking, good at communicating with other people. I hope that's one that I have a bit of. It's probably the one I would identify more for myself. I'm okay with logic, mathematics, no. You've got something called interpersonal intelligence. People who relate to other people very well, who really can connect, only connect. Yes, they're good at connecting, the connectors. People who are have visual intelligence. They might be artists, photographers, filmmakers, those kind of people. They have strong visual ability. Bodily, kinesthetic intelligence. People who are good at dancing. That's not me, I'm afraid. If I come to your countries, I'll be ashamed you'll be ashamed by my dancing. But I know that many people in African countries are fantastic dancers. Not all, of course, but we see so much dancing. And gosh, what a good thing that is. And then there's musical and rhythmic intelligence. I have a bit of that. I love music. That's one of my real interests. Intrapersonal intelligence. These are people who are maybe more spiritual, religious people, philosophers, the people who look inside and find the truths from there. Quiet. They tend often to be very quiet people, thoughtful people. And then naturalistic intelligence, people who can connect with nature, who understand animals, who love plants, who grow things, who are good at gardening. This is also a kind of intelligence. And usually most of us have a mixture of these. We'll have, some of them well developed, some of them only a little bit. Maybe one or two that we don't have much of at all. But we're all a mixture. And what we have, therefore, is incredible diversity. And when I said last week that friendship is not the same as similarity, it's the same with the people that you work with. You don't want to be surrounded by people who are all exactly the same as you. A football team needs people who are really good with their bodily intelligence. They've got to be able to kick the ball in the right direction at the right time and find exactly the sweet spot to get it where they want it to go. But a football team, to be a good team, needs a good manager. It needs somebody who's good at communicating with the fans. It needs somebody who can look after the ground. It needs somebody who's got the mathematical skills to run to run the finances and so on and so forth. If you want to be successful, and if you want to have a good team around you, you need to find people with a wide range of different things. And sometimes the solutions to problems can come from the most unexpected places. So you might find that it's an artist who comes up with the solution for your business problem. It's not impossible, and it has happened. So look for difference, look for diversity, look for richness of experience. And I would say that everybody has it in some measure. I don't believe there's any such thing as a boring person. If you're finding that somebody is a boring or an incompetent or a useless person, the chances are you are not asking the right questions and you're not listening. You're not listening to their story. And I had this experience myself when I took over an office from a guy who was quite a hard manager. And he said, oh, well, the first thing you should do is you should fire that person. She's useless. You should get rid of her. that's not my style. And I spent quite a lot of time talking to this person, to this lady. And I found that she was just in the wrong job. She didn't enjoy what she was doing, but she had a lot of ideas about doing something else with another part of the work. And as soon as we put her in a different job, which she enjoyed, and where her intelligences were better used, she did great. So it's just about hearing the story and listening. So that's about stories and people and the importance of diversity and difference. Just quick one. Any quick thoughts, questions? I'll just have a quick look at the chat if there's anything there.
Hello, Mr. Andrew. I have
Hello.
something for you here.
Thank you.
So I was saying that in the beginning of this session, you say to know the truth, we have to connect with people. So my question is, how do I find the truth without connecting with people? I'm asking this because not all people are not able to socialize.
That's true. But of course, you won't find every truth from every person, and you won't connect with every person and every truth. I mean, there are people, of course, who are limited by circumstances, sometimes by disability or mobility or other aspects. But actually, there are very few people, in my experience, who don't have some connection with the world and with other people. But if people's connections are limited, then at least then you can do it kind of through other people. You always have somebody with you. You always have somebody around. If you're able to get books, then books. If you're able to listen to wise or older people, then you can benefit from their experiences. Television, radio, and other media. There are myriad ways, but of course, yeah, it's not easy for everybody to just go out and about and say hello to everybody that they want to. I understand that, and I think is a very good point. So thank you for that.
Amazing. And there's another one here. So I'm saying that on that same issue of perspective, doesn't the limitation of context play a big role in limiting our worldview?
Sorry, the limitation of conscience, did you say?
It's on that same issue of perspective.
Yeah.
Doesn't the limitation of context play a big role in limiting our worldview?
Probably, yes. We all come. We can only come from where we come from. Let's put it that way. So we will always grow up within an environment or within that context that will appear to impose limits. But I think what we're trying to say here is that it's up to you to try to go beyond those limits. It's what I said last week, is to be a traveler. Not everybody's a traveler. Not everybody can be, but in some sense, to travel. If you live in a valley, and you're supposing somebody living in a valley in Nepal or somewhere, surrounded by mountains, and nobody from their family ever went out of that valley. When they are the first one who goes out of the valley, it's a big effort. It's difficult. It's difficult to go out, and the valley could be physical, real mountains, or it could be conceptual. It could be just those ideas that from that context that form you. And it takes courage, determination, and strength sometimes to go beyond those horizons. But when you do, that's when the world opens up, and then that's when you come back and you become a time traveler, as I said last week. So yes, absolutely, it matters a lot. We can't get away from that context, but nevertheless, and we shouldn't get away from it, because context is also tradition. So I'm not saying that we should break away from our traditions. On the contrary, they're a very important part of our story and our truth. But we need to be able to go beyond them.